Welcome to another YouTube video, guys. As promised, I finally found this little Osmo Pocket 3. It's sold out everywhere, but we were able to find it for a little extra, of course. Someone was selling it for a little bit more. Just got done working the first half of my day. Now I'm actually about to go get food. Well, not food. I'm not going to get food. I'm going to go buy eggs. I started cooking, so I like to make an omelet every single day. It's lighter and it's actually pretty filling, which I like, without necessarily making me feel like I want to take a nap after. The main thing that I worked on early this morning is I finished the sales OS, which I've talked about before, but now I'm actually getting clients and partners to test it out for their sales playbook, for those who have either their founder-led sales motions or they have a sales team. They're going to also be able to leverage it. It's really sick. I spent almost 3 hours just fine-tuning the thing, and now I just sent it back to the team. Also had a call with my head of client success and product to essentially go over, because now that we're building this company with AI and we're selling AI solutions, the idea is like, okay, how can we build an entire playbook of how to build an AI growth firm? A company that, instead of running traditional agencies or being a coach or consultant or infopreneur, can you become a company that designs vertical niche specific AI growth playbooks and then build AI systems that then you go integrate into companies, right? This is still a great model to run because you build these systems once and then you can charge a premium for them and you can have them run without you, right? So we're designing this new playbook of how to actually go about building these companies. So that was one call that I focused on. And now let's go see what I buy for making, I guess, my breakfast. But it's 1 p.m., so it's pretty late. Now let's go, guys. Let's get to work. Ciao. Now, some exciting news is that I just got the car cleaned up, so I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like.
Smooth, I ain't leave him no trace. Rest on me, fresh out the chase. You got it on the display. I got it from.
Can't make this up. Can't make this up. To be honest, I think the pleasure of having a car like this is that it's just that it reminds you that like all the stress is kind of worth it, or at least it make you feel. Oh, it's smelling so good. Wow. Damn, my guy hooked me up with a little smelling vibe. Ooh-wee. I don't know if you guys can hear it much, but for those that don't know what how a GT3 works, you have kind of like 3 modes. You have I'll show you guys this. So you have the sport mode, but when you go into track, it actually changes the screen. You have this here that kind of like has a this is the suspension. So if you want it stiff or not, it has a lift here. So if you click this, it will lift the car up, but I don't need it. And then if you want to remove traction and get the car to slide, you can hold on here and then it will remove traction, and then you can go crazy as you want, right? So what I'm about to do right now is go get eggs and come back home and cook. But it's gonna be a really nice ride because the car is so clean. But when the car is clean, it makes you want to be out in the streets. So what I might do is I may finish eating and actually go into town, go work at a coffee shop just because, okay? I have a client call at 4 p.m. We have clients in Australia, we have clients in different parts of the world, and in the last year or so, I haven't necessarily been doing any calls later in the day. I've been primarily focusing on either around noon, but they're not able to join any of my calls. So we set it up so that they can have their own session with me, so that it's a lot easier for them and not have them stay up until like 1 or 2 a.m. to speak or at least to have questions with me, okay? So let's go open the garage. You open the garage kind of like this. And then we outside. So one thing I've realized is sometimes I like to park in the handicap places because I don't want anybody to scratch my car, and it pisses off so many people. Guys, so just came back from the grocery store, just bought more eggs, bought some tortillas. You can never go wrong with this. I bought some avocados, but they're not ready, so I'm just gonna keep them here while they get ready. I'm heating up coffee because I love coffee. And one thing that I also like to do is while I cook, while I get breakfast, it's not breakfast, it's just my first meal of the day. I actually like to find a podcast that I can listen to while I cook. All right. Also, you can never go wrong with bagels. I like a little bagels and some, you know, a little bit of cream cheese, I guess. I like the herb and garlic flavor because that's pretty dialed in. I'm actually gonna make one right now while I wait for the eggs to cook up. So, I bought cereals for the first time probably in like a year or two, but I haven't even had the time to eat them because I'm like, when should you eat cereals? In the morning? But then it has so much sugar that you're just gonna feel like you're on crack. And then also later in the evening, maybe on some little bit of munchies, you know, you wanna snack on something sweet. But then it also has so much sugar that you're probably not gonna be able to fall asleep. So I don't know, comment below. Let me know, when do you guys eat cereal? FYI, I don't know who put cereal in the world because it's probably one of the worst thing that you can eat, in my opinion. But this society that we live in, the American culture, is just created on just getting fat, on consumption, right? So people believe that that's actually valuable. All right, cool. I'm gonna cut some onions. And then we're gonna get to cooking, boys. Get to cooking. Also like these salami, spicy. I like it in the eggs. So I'm gonna put that in there. FYI, the only thing I cook is eggs. At night, I don't like to eat at home. I'll either order out or just go eat at home with family, right? If I'm trying to reduce the expenses. All right, guys, so I want to show you guys what I'm listening to while cooking.
Investor, and not many people know about it.
Has he been a great board member?
Yeah, I mean, he's been investing in the company from 2019.
So I found this guy. He's a co-founder of Airwallex. I don't know much about the company. I haven't really studied it much. But this guy went through 3 years of failing, no revenue, to raising money, millions, and then a year later almost lost all the money because he was burning everything on staff and just burning through money, and then went through another round of raising money to make sure that his company succeeds. And it is so crazy when you are in our world, right? The world of info, coaching, consulting, agency services, you don't realize how how hard actually business is, because you're primarily relying on yourself, right? You're relying on your, one second. Anyway, as I was saying, listening to this guy, Jack Zhang, I realized that it is okay to struggle. It is okay to struggle for 5 years, even a decade, because what most people don't understand is that depending on what your vision is, depending on what your mission is, the path from $0 to $1 million, or the path from $1 million to 10 million, those paths, or even $1 million to, let's say, from 0 to 100 million, or 0 to $1 billion, are two completely different paths. Therefore, if your goal is to get to $1 million, you cannot have the same timeline as someone who's trying to get to 100 million. The fastest path to go from 0 to $1 million is not the fastest path to go from 0 to 10 million. The fastest path to go from 0 to 10 million is not the same path as to go from 0 to 100 million or $1 billion. So it's okay to fail if your goal is to build something great. It's okay for you to go through years of like, man, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. If your goal is to build something great. If your goal is to build a tiny little business where you make 10K a month, then yeah, you should have been making that kind of money yesterday. But if your goal is to build an organization that changes and revolutionizes the way that people achieve their dreams and live through life, it's okay to fail. It's okay to still be showing up next year and be like, yo, I'm actually still struggling. I don't have no revenue. Like this guy. He raised money from Sequoia, but Sequoia was like, well, if you don't raise money from this other investor, we're not going to give you money. And then the other investor that he was supposed to get a few millions from said, hey, why don't we build this infrastructure within our business? Why do we need to invest in your company? We have hundreds of engineers. So that company refused to invest in his company, and then Sequoia refused to invest until they invest. But they were running out of capital. And that's 3 years after launching the business. 0 revenue. And it took 3 months to finally get the other investor to invest in the business. And then finally they got Sequoia to invest. And then a year later, they run out of the same money. Again, with still no product market fit. It is so impressive to see entrepreneurs who are actually struggling but still pushing through. You know? So I like to listen to these podcasts because it puts things so much into perspective, right? It puts things so much into perspective. And for me, what I learned from listening to these guys, and FYI, he ended up scaling his business. I think right now they're over $9 billion. They have a $9 billion valuation, I believe, right? You know, it's okay if it takes you 10 years to go from 0 to $9 billion valuation, right? It's totally fine. It's worth all the sacrifices. And that's one of the lessons that I learned, and I'm about to finish the podcast. So, yeah, let's go. God is good, man. All you need is a little bagel, a little coffee. You don't even need the omelet. You can just cook and get to cooking. My brother just called me and he's coming. Might go do a little shoot. But the weather is so nice that like, we're gonna go get a little cold beer. I don't know, you know, something on a little terrace somewhere downtown. You know, the car is looking clean. You know, just go outside in the streets, a little glass of wine, you know, and take a break from cooking a little bit. You know, YOLO, you're gonna die someday. Eventually, we all gonna die. And even if you do make the money, even if you do get all the cars and the homes and the penthouses and you get to make a bunch of kids, so what? You're going to live it on earth. You ain't going to bring it with you. But the memories, You can't keep, you take them with you, you know? All right, let's go, baby. 4 eggs. That's enough, I think, right? I don't know how much protein that is, but we don't really care.
Right, we raised $400 million, really well capitalized, the business kept doubling, and we had enough money just to keep going. And also we raised a flat round in 2022, because at that time we were burning close to $200 million a year, and we wasn't really sure, like how November 700 in sort of January, Feb. And the
Can't go wrong with a little bit of sriracha, boys.
Still growing standing fast.
700 in January, Feb.
Kind of the same sort of multiple Stripe or the Revolut are doing.
Yeah, I'm saying that's a good deal for an investor to do.
And I think people are on like Lee Shanley don't give you too much credit on the growth rate today.
They don't give you too much credit on the growth rate?
No, I don't think so. I think people are really looking at, kind of public market calm and, because of what happened in 2021, so there's less investors out there believe that you can grow in 90% for a long period of time. Imagine like in 2021, right? People all go burn. People all growing 100% and just went from growing 100% to like 20% in like months.
Yeah.
I think people just investors just got burned through that experience. And, I think there's, people just give you less credit that you can grow at this high speed for a long period of time.
2%?
Yeah. Why would you use 2% instead of 1%? Who wants to be part of the 2%?
I should use 2%. I don't know.
Nobody wants. I don't want to say I'm part of the 2%. No. Say 1%. Even if it's even if the 1% is actually 2%.
Yeah, because it's like barely any difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you need to do as because right now it's kind of like the process map, or at least the journey thing is kind of like you have the proof separately, but like if you look at the way that I build mine, is under each function there is a proof, right? So as an example, you need a way to generate attention, but you need to do it through models, through new mechanisms. What are those new mechanisms? Oh, look at this guy. He's doing this landscaping thing and he has 45,000 likes. What are you doing paying for leads? We all are trying to play the game so that our path to success is more effortless than the alternative. And then guess what? The other person has a business around making your business less annoying and less tiring. It's almost like whoever gets to the peak of the mountain of facilitating growth for someone else essentially runs a less painful business, right? But the argument as to like why don't you do it for yourself is because I don't want to operate a landscaping business, right?
Yeah.
And if I was running a landscaping business, I wouldn't be selling you this, and I wouldn't also be proficient at doing this. But this is like, you're better off getting help from someone who only focuses on helping you grow than someone who actually just does what you do. All right, guys. So I want to show you guys how I wrap up my day. Now I just finished a call with clients. It lasted like over 90 minutes. It was a pretty long call. I also ended up hopping on a call with the sales leader, also head of operations, to just talk about different roles we're hiring for. Our calendars are booked out for the whole week, and it's only Tuesday, right? It's really insane. So we're gonna need more closers. If you're a closer, maybe we're gonna leave a link below. You can apply, but please do not spam me. We're not really a heavy sales business. We don't really need a big sales team. Like a lot of people who want to work with us already know why they want to work with us. So we don't need that big of we're not a sales-led company. We're really product and content and education heavy. So we don't need a lot of that. So that's why we don't hire a lot of closers, okay? But I want to show you guys kind of like how I go in the end of day. So right now I'm reviewing this platform that we're building. So one of the biggest bottleneck for all the companies online is the ability to acquire attention for free. Not everyone can create content like I'm doing right now and get thousands of views without having to pay Meta money, right? So one of the things that we've been working on is how do we allow companies that don't have a creator leading that business to still have the same efficiency and profitability of a creator. For those who don't know, my first ever 7 figures, I did it in 90 days and I only spent $7,000 on ads, right? If you told that to a business that relies heavily on spending a lot of money on marketing, they'd think that I'm crazy for not having spent that $1 million back into acquisition, right? So one of the things that I've learned is that this ability to create content is actually really valuable. So now we're building something pretty sick. I can't wait to share with you guys. As much as we're building sales agents, as many appointment setters with AI, all these things with AI, like building literally like growth consultants with AI, with custom GPTs, all these assistants from the data we have. We're also cooking on the back end these platforms, okay? So I'm going to play it. Maybe you guys are gonna hear a little bit of what I'm currently going over, and I think it's gonna be good, okay? So check this out.
And then a database where this AI content agent pulls from based on niche and whatnot. We're still populating the database because there's like API rate limits. We're starting to hit limits on all on all different accounts just because it's compute. That's what we're hearing with the world of compute. All these different things are heavy to run. But yeah, you're essentially able to open up the process, see the hook, see what the actual viral video does. And then off of you select, for example, oh, I like 2 to 3 of these. We'll add some extra context, generate content ideas. And off of that, it'll give you a couple different content ideas. AI analysis complete is actually, we worked on this right before the guys got off. And Austin might be doing some extra cooking on the side. I don't know, because it's actually looking better. So it's pulling through. The idea is for it to give you different, and this is all coming off of the kind of mapping that we've been, these tools to actually be good, for example, to handle 100 clients, to go at scale. The no-code tools are not enough, so then we're having to go no-code/code, and that's a new world. That's a new.
So, as you guys are seeing, one of the things that we're doing is, so I don't want to necessarily make this super long, but the scale of content creation and virality is actually a skill. And anything that can be taught and learned can also be turned into an AI agent and an AI platform that has multiple of those skills layered up in different agentic workflows, right? So as an example, for someone to be able to become a creator, they need to know where traffic is going, and they need to figure out what topics and what are the right hooks and what are the things that actually get the algorithm to distribute it on a specific niche thing, okay? And then the next thing is how to actually create value. That is also a skill and frameworks that can also be learned. And then the next thing is actually outputting the actual content into something that is fully automated, that doesn't necessarily need a human to be in the loop, okay? We're not necessarily at the point where we can remove a human completely, but at least the first 2 layers are getting really close at it. We started out with no code, now we're having to code, okay? So literally had to onboard engineers on the team, which is pretty sick. So this is an update. Platform is coming up pretty nicely. I can't wait to launch it to clients. And the ability for us, what we want to do is we want to give this tool to our clients and our partners, so then they can go into markets that don't have this scale and sell it to them and just achieve their dreams through things that we're building. So our job is figuring out how is the 1% scaling, and then how do we then build niche, vertical specific growth playbooks and AI solutions that can then be taken and gone and sold into those markets. Does that make sense? So this is one of the solutions, a part of a bunch of different mechanisms that we're going to market. And then the other thing that also I like to do at the end of the day, so as you guys heard, like literally we're running through a bunch of credits where compute is one of our biggest bottleneck even for building this platform, okay? And so this is really sick. But at the end of each day, guys, I have this channel called productivity. Every single person in the organization has to do an end of day update, right? So as an example, I'll try to go over the output of the team that are integrating and building these systems. And their update is essentially, hey, develop and deploy a scraping script to monitor viral content on TikTok. That was their focus today. And then the script was successfully loaded into the worker and is now actively scraping viral video data. It matters because this automation streamlines data collection for client acquisition. There are no blockers, and then they share what the tomorrow's focus is going to be, and then they also make a Loom video going over the actual proof of output. Okay, so I would then go in and actually go in and look at, okay, what were the outputs, okay? So as you guys can see here, he's leveraging, Python, Cursor to kind of like go over and actually build a lot of these scripts, okay? So things like that. This is kind of like what I go through at the end of each day. Today was pretty productive. The team was building on this platform. I was personally working on the sales OS. I've rolled it out to a few customers so they can test it out. I believe that by next month, no one should be necessarily needing like, oh, I don't know what to say on the sales call. No, you should by the time that we get you appointments, leads, and business owners on the call so you can sell them your system, you should already have practiced 100 times over and be confident in your ability to sell, okay? And what's good is that I laid it in so that it has multiple levels of difficulty. I don't know if I said it earlier, but the sales OS, when you role play, after each role play, it gets more complicated. So yeah, guys, again, we're fully booked out. We have a new client we have a few new clients today. Some people are from Australia, so that's really sick to see. Yeah, we're cooking. Okay, and of course I like to look at all the sales updates, low ticket customer, high ticket clients, all that good stuff. Make sure you don't necessarily see anything on the screen. I don't want people's data to show up in this video. But yeah, today is a pretty good productive day. Revenue, cash collected, we're around, let me see. So 4 grand, 6 grand, so that's 10 grand, 14 grand. We made today around a little $14,000 US cash collected. Revenue is around maybe a little over 20 grand. And yeah, so far so good. Right now we're really building. We're not really trying to scale. It doesn't matter. Really building great products, just build. If you build, you don't have to worry about selling, okay? So I'm gonna wrap it up. Hope you guys are liking this type of content. Today I walked you guys through going to the grocery store, then cooking, then a little bit of the client call, and I guess this end of day updates on how I structure the team. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'd love to go a little bit more in depth on any other topic. But yeah, I'm excited to do these, and they're a lot easier to do. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.